Welcome to another edition of Interruptions. I'm your host, Otis Smith. I have back again Carvin Winans from the Winans family, one of the top best, and I told him this last time, falsetto voices I have ever heard. The author, the writer of the song Tomorrow. I'm talking no other, once again, the great and man of God, Carvin Winans. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, Otis. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I'm glad to be back.
I
Always.
pre I appreciate it. I appreciate you blessing me the first time and, blessing me again with your presence. We don't take it lightly, take it for granted. You could be doing anything right now. And especially, with Father's Day coming up, you could have been on a trip or your kids or somebody could have been, having something planned for you, during the whole week. So I thank you for taking the time out to come on the show. So
No
once
problem.
again, thank you.
No
So
problem. I
just
would say to the people watching, if my mouth looks a little crooked, it's because I just came back from the dentist.
he
So,
just came back from the dentist. So
yeah, they just they pump your mouth up with that stuff to kill the pain and
yeah, the
everything.
normal, the didn't it? Okay. Well, hey, at least they didn't give you laughing gas. 'Cause
No, no, I don't think I need that. I laugh enough.
right, right. They say you didn't even ask him anything. He laughing.
Yeah, man.
And
You know.
everyone that watched this show, or anyone that knows his brother Marvin, tell it we want the twin album. We want double take. That's what we gonna call. We gonna call it double take. They go
Double
they
take.
they go get it out, or the best of both worlds. Whatever.
Right,
Let's get it going. So
right. You know how they have verses?
yeah,
Me versus Marvin.
you you
I don't
call.
know if I want notice. I don't know if I want that challenge. Man.
Hey, but you know what? Your family is so blessed. You guys, they'll be like, nah, y'all got to sing live. Don't play no record. Don't be playing no record.
That's right. That's right.
So, question I have for you, since we coming up on Father's Day, uh, what did or what does Father's Day, um, I'm sorry, what did or what does still your father mean to you?
Oh man, he still means the world. Really, he was my hero. He, I mean, anytime he and my mom,
Hmm.
we had Mother's Day, and we were able to all get on the phone with my mom and tell her how she blessed us and how what a wonderful mother she had been down through the years and still is.
Hmm.
But her and my dad, raising 10 kids, man, every time I look at it, Otis,
Yeah.
having six of my own and how they did 10 back then,
Yeah.
how they were 10 kids was just remarkable. And so my dad would work 3 jobs, 4 jobs. My mom worked 2 jobs, and just watching him, and he didn't have a dad when he was growing up. He
Okay.
didn't. Dad was nowhere around. His mother raised him, and so he didn't have that man in his life. But he taught all his sons to be men. You know,
Wow.
to work hard. And to and to love the Lord. Period. And
Yes.
so man, I just, he was just a hero to me and probably to all my brothers and sisters, but it was just nobody like him. He could make us laugh, he was so serious about the Lord, but then he could be pretty comical,
Uh huh.
had a great sense of humor.
Okay.
He was just the best. He was just the best. And then as we got older, we would sit down and have these man to man talks.
Hmm.
It was just wonderful.
I saw an interview. I think it was with your twin Marvin, and it was funny. So I wanted to ask you about this. So Marvin said that your mother was the one that discovered you guys' talent, and said once you guys sung in church, your father took over. It said, okay, okay, they got to say, I got it from here, baby. I got it from
He did, and man, was like, we looked at my mom like, why you made him do this? You know? Yeah, because he would keep us up late on school nights, rehearsing. You
uh
know, we had to say, because in a group, of course, you got to blend with the harmonies and all that kind of stuff, right? And so
hmm
we would always say, you know, do your part, but let your ear hear everybody else,
Okay.
you know, and that's how you're
Okay.
gonna blend,
Okay.
And so you don't want to sing louder than the other one. And it was
Okay.
four of us, right? I think David was in the group at the time, my oldest brother, and so I was pretty good at it. I was pretty
Okay.
good, but
Okay.
Ronald would have some trouble.
Robert After.
He would have trouble staying on key, right? And so my
Uh,
dad would be like, he would take his fingers like, you can't hear that note. You can't. And I don't want that to happen to me. So I was like,
so
yeah, I
you
can
gonna
hear.
hear that? You gonna hear the note? You gonna?
But yeah, he was on it. And then, he took us, he what he would do, he would take his own money. He put us in the studio. I remember doing a couple of albums that he funded. And because he really believed in his kids, he really believed in us. And he believed in the gift that God had given us. And he put his money on it,
Wow.
and so he spent his money. He would do concerts in the city of Detroit. We would do concerts, and he would put his money up for that. And I mean, he was just like all in, all in. And then when we got signed, one of the hardest things we had to do
Okay.
was let my father go as manager. Because
Ooh.
that was one of the hardest things we had to do. But
Who brought that up?
well, we all kind of had a meeting and did, at this point it was the Winans, me,
Right.
Michael, and Marvin. And my dad, he was always like, okay, you sing to the glory of God. You're not singing for money. You know.
Right.
Okay, Dad, we know. But then when the Winans started to get hot and we started getting gigs and we
Mm-hmm.
was on that Pittman circuit, you know, um, we would get to the concerts, it would be sold out. People, what do you call them? The concert promoter would come to the dressing room right before we come out and
Sure.
say he didn't have the money.
Okay.
And like we would look out there and the place is packed,
But you don't
and he
have
don't
the
have
money.
money, you know. And so, but my dad said, well, okay. So my dad would come back. He talked to us. Said, look, now the guy said he don't have the money. Dad, what do you mean you don't have the money?
Okay.
We looked up. The place is packed. He
Right.
said, look, you're not singing for money. You sing for the glory of God. He said, yeah, we got to eat. So we go out there, we sing. And so that people was like pulling the wool over his eyes. It was happening too much.
Right.
And so we had to have a meeting and say, yeah, we got to get a real manager because dad just don't know how to tell people, they got to pay us.
Right.
Well, we had to go to the house and we had a meeting and my mom was crying. And she
Oh
said, I
wow.
knew I do that.
Oh man. Oh man, you get mama crying.
Like that. And man, so it was just the hardest thing we had to do. But he confessed himself that was the best thing we could have did because he just wasn't cut out to do that.
Right. I understand.
And then when he started singing and traveling with us, he understood it even more.
Okay.
How important a manager was, and
Sure.
business side of it is important. So, but yeah, he would put his money where his mouth. He really believed in us, and he believed in talent. He taught us well, and a lot of people say, well, because sometimes people talk about Joe Jackson and
Mm-hmm.
how hard it was on the Jacksons or whatever.
Right.
But I can kind of see, through how my dad did us. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't that he was really trying to be hard on us or mean, but he
Right.
was trying to teach us. He was trying to show us, you got this talent. Now,
Mm-hmm.
because he could sing. Pop could sing.
That's
He
right.
said, "You guys got this talent, but I'm gonna show you how to get to that next level. I'm gonna
Level.
show you how to really brush your talent up,
Right.
and nourish your talent." And so I appreciated all that. Once we got older, you could kind of see where he was going with it.
Isn't that even though this is not a question, but I meant the question I had down, but isn't that one of the coolest things that you feel when you can sit and have that conversation with your dad and letting
Oh
them
yeah,
know that now you understand the lesson that he was
yeah,
teaching. When you didn't get it at first, but like you
yeah.
said, you having that conversation man to as a grown man to man,
Right.
and
That's
you
a one.
able yeah, and you're able to say,
Wonderful
Dad,
thing.
I get it. I see what you was doing.
Even on the raising and the chastising, right?
Right.
My dad, he would get us for everything. And so when we got older, I remember talking to him and said, "Dad, I think you whooped us too much." He said, "Yeah, you probably right. I probably did. But y'all didn't go to jail, did you?" I said, "No, we didn't go to jail. I kept y'all out of jail." I said, "Yeah, you're right." So we understood because in raising seven boys first, and the
Hmm.
Cece and the girls, they came at the end, right?
Right.
So yeah, and my dad wasn't really tall in stature or anything, He
Right.
was, and so he got all these boys, seven boys, and we all growing taller than he is. So he had to put his bluff in.
Yep.
And we didn't play with him, man. He was serious,
I was
you
about to
know.
say you knew you. All right, try if you want to.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Be the last try. Be the last try you have.
Okay, how tall you are?
Okay,
Exactly.
that'll be the last try. Yeah,
So,
yeah. My father was kind of like that. My dad. Here was the funny part. I could challenge my mother, like if my mom say do something, I
yeah,
could, well, why I gotta do it? Why,
right.
this is it. When dad say do it, like if my dad say cut the grass, the only question I had was, is there any gasoline in the lawnmower? Before you leave, I just want to make sure that I can get the job done. Mom
Exactly.
say cut the grass. It's like, why I got to cut? I'm going through all this
Yeah,
stuff, but
yeah,
when
yeah.
Pop said, nah, there wasn't no.
No, no. It wasn't no why. It was, you just you got it done.
Get
You
it
know,
done. Yeah, man. What?
that's what's lacking. And it's sad because that's what's lacking in the
Mhm.
houses today. Is that's authority, because you're right, especially with single moms.
Yeah.
A lot of guys, when they get older, they take advantage of them. You know, and so that's what's missing is that voice of authority.
You you but see at the same time, just like my father, and I'm sure just like with your father, at the same time, you still knew that your father loved you, you
Oh
know.
yeah, oh yeah,
And so even though even I tell my daughter with my grandson with Braylon, I say, listen, when you discipline children, sometimes it's also going to come a psychological warfare.
yeah,
Like you had to get into his head. I said, because boys are different. Boys are
yeah.
different. I said, you a female. I say trust daddy. Boys are different, and you have to psychological. Because I would say something. You ever say something to your dad, right? You lying, right? And then he would come back with this line like, "So you think I'm stupid, don't you?" And you like, no, no, you got to think I'm stupid to tell me that to think I'm going to believe. You know,
Right,
and it's one
right.
of those questions you can't answer. He got you trapped.
Well, I wasn't born yesterday. You
Right,
know.
right. I was born yesterday, and now you actually know what that means. Now I
Yeah,
wasn't born
yeah, right.
yesterday.
Yeah,
What
that's
what kind of father would you say your kids say you are?
well. I would hope they would say that I've been the kind of dad that has been transparent. You know,
Hmm.
if I make a mistake, I'm not too prone, or I don't put myself over here where I'm your dad, so I don't have to apologize. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I don't believe in that. Um, so I would hope they would say that, yeah, my dad has always been fair to us, If he's done something wrong, he'll apologize, and we move on. But he's always been a loving dad, a dad that did give discipline, you
Right.
know. And one story is so funny. Oh, there's one story because I used to take
Okay.
them to Disney World a lot, and so when they got older, Carvin and Juan, my two older sons, they went to Disneyland on their own.
Okay.
Had a lot of money, and they called me. They said, "Dad, we remember doing this pretty much every year, and we did it on our own. And man, this is a lot of money. We just called to tell you thanks, thanks for the, you know." And so it's stuff like that that makes you feel good because you kind of know you taught them a lesson, you
Right.
know,
Right.
and and that you learned that they were grateful for what you did for them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I try to be that dad that is understanding, not too overbearing,
Sure.
uh, but at the same time, when they were growing up, if I say to do something, I meant for you to do it.
Right.
Now, when you get older, we
Mm-hmm.
can sit and have that conversation. I can still give you advice,
Right.
and I'm always here to give you that advice. And because I'm older than you, I got more wisdom, because
Right.
I've been trying to go. So
Correct.
hopefully you'll listen. But there's no longer you better do this or you better do that because you can't do that. They're grown, you know. But we do have that relationship where I can call any of my children and they can call me if they got a question, you know, hopefully I can answer it, and they have that respect. That respect level is there, and they really appreciated that the way they were raised. You know.
And it's
So
funny you say that because I had to learn that the same thing that you're talking about, the levels, I'm sorry, not the levels, but the shiftness that you have to do as a parent. You go from, when they're infants to the protector, right?
that's
And then you become all things to them as they're in their toddler age and growing up. And then, like you said, you when they become teenagers, it's funny because then they see the flaws in you, in us, right?
right,
They
right, right.
because when they little, it's like my dad can beat your dad,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then when they get teenagers,
Oh, when they little,
yeah, and isn't it funny because it's like it's no different with you far as being who you are, being a celebrity, and people know who you are, that your kids got to a point with you where they didn't think you was cool.
Mhm.
Like even
That's
though
right.
you like, I know what's going on out here. Me, your uncles, your
Right.
aunties, everybody, we know what's going on, and they looking at you like
No,
you
you don't.
you don't get it. And then, like you said, then you move to more of a mentor, a counselor stage,
Yeah,
where, like
yeah.
you said, it's not do what I say. Someone told me there's a difference between mentoring and coaching.
Hmm.
And mentoring is when people are coming to you looking for the answer, right,
Right,
from you.
right.
Coaching becomes a duality. It's dual, where you're trying to find out from them
Hmm.
what you can do to help them to be successful.
Right,
To
right,
what So you're no longer just trying to tell them what they have to do. You're trying to
right.
walk with them. So it's just when you said that, having that conversation and being transparent, because
Yeah.
you can no longer just, sometimes you have to share your story where you messed up at in
That's right.
life,
That's right.
so they don't they can understand, they can come back from a mistake.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's good,
The,
Norman. That's
the
real good.
yeah. So
Absolutely.
how um have you do you feel like that you became the father that you wanted to become?
I think so. And the thing is that I don't think you ever stop learning how to be. I pray every morning, and
Hmm.
in my prayers, I ask God to make me a good husband. Continue to make me a good husband. Continue to make me a good father. Continue to make me a good grandfather. Because I don't think you can ever stop learning. And
Okay.
what I've learned too is that every child that you have is different.
Yes.
Some you can talk to a little bit more stern. Others, you have to be maybe a little bit more kid glovish, and but everybody's different, so you can't come at each of them the same way. And so you never stop learning to be a dad, and to me, I don't ever want to stop learning to be a good dad,
Gotcha.
a
Okay.
good husband. I want to always learn, be in that learning stage, because it's just always so much more you can learn. I don't think you ever stop learning. So I don't want to get to, yeah, I'm your dad and you do like I say,
Mm-hmm.
always do this. No, 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 no. I want to learn. You grown now. You're not that same little child, you know.
Right.
And when it comes to the wife, you're not my sister. You're my wife, So
Right.
I want to hear what you have to say, and we want to do this thing together. And so that's something that I've learned, that God has to teach you, and you have to be open to be taught. You
Okay.
know, a lot of times, growing up, you know, in the black families,
Mm-hmm.
it was like the man was like, "You do like I tell you,"
Right.
to the wife, and blah blah blah. But
Mm-hmm.
life is not like that. It should be
No.
a partnership. You know, and so and those things you have to be open to learn, and God can teach you if you're willing to learn. That way, and also to be that father that you want to be. So I hope I was that father, and I hope I continue to be that father that they look up to, and that's my prayer every day. You know,
I mean, I like what you said because I mean, it ministered, spoke to me far as you make sure you stay in where you're always learning, that you don't think that you as a father or as a husband that you got it down,
right,
got it down
right.
pack. It like because that's gonna be your first mistake,
That's right.
because something's gonna change.
That's right. It's always
and,
that's right.
and, and it's funny because what you said, I remember watching, I don't know if you ever seen it, I think it's called Man Vision. I saw with the late great Dr. Miles Monroe, and he talked about a man, instead of looking at, like you're the head of the household, right? Because you know how men are, we run with that. I'm the head, we run with
Right,
that
right.
thing. He's
Mhm.
he talked about actually like a house. You're not the head, you're the foundation.
Right.
And with a house, if the foundation is not right, then we know what's gonna happen to the house.
Yes,
It's
it's
not
all
gonna.
right.
But this is what he said, and when he said, I said, "Oh, that explains Mother's Day from Father's Day." And he said, "Remember, when you lay the foundation, you don't see it anymore. Everything is built on top of the foundation. You get it, right? So you don't see it. The windows, the roof, everything else you can see, admire, and it's beautiful. But the foundation you
You don't
don't
even
see.
you
But it
don't
has
see it.
to. But it has to be right.
That's right. It has to be right. Absolutely.
Yes. So when he said that, I said, "Oh, that's what happened to Father's Day."
You get to that point where, at least for me, it
Hmm.
was like, I'm more happier when I'm doing for the wife and the children.
Right.
I'm just more, that gives me all the joy in the world. You ain't got to
Gotcha.
spend nothing on me. If I can spend the money on you and put a smile on your face, man, I'm the happiest person in the world. And so that's just how I think I've always been like that.
Hmm.
And my daily prayers, I think God is making me more and more like that. And it's not like, oh man, I don't get to do this for me. I don't even, it doesn't even bother me. Like being that foundation, if
Hmm.
everything is built right,
Hmm.
foundation is happy
Gotcha.
because it ain't gonna fall apart.
Gotcha.
And I know, that foundation has to be there for it not to fall apart. So I get joy in that. If I'm there, if I'm the foundation and I'm
Hmm.
keeping it together, then that's my joy right there. You know?
That's a yeah, yeah. And it's so funny you say that. You might tell your brother, we might be triplets. It might not be, y'all twin. It might be triplets because the funny part is what you just stated. My oldest daughter, Jasmine, will tell you. I say that all the time. She'll say, "Daddy,
Mhm.
what do you want for your birthday, Father's Day, Christmas, whatever?" And I would say, only thing I want is for you guys to be successful in whatever you're trying to achieve. I don't need anything. I said, all if I can count you, your sister, your brother, my grandkid, everybody healthy, good, daddy, good. That's
Yeah, yeah.
that's all I need. And she got so mad at me around Christmas
They
saying
get back.
they get
I was
mad.
gonna say that though, they get mad because I say the same thing. What do you want for Father's Day? I just want y'all to be good.
That's it. They be like, no, we got to get you something.
Yeah, I
And
know.
so
I,
they surprised me Christmas. It got me a 70-inch screen TV.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So then hold up, but look, Carvin, I flipped it back on them then because
Uh,
it's in the family room. So I said, well, this everybody TV. No, this your TV. I said, no, this everybody TV.
Are y'all gonna watch it? Then it's everybody's TV.
Right. I said, yeah, see? I said the same thing. So it's good to hear somebody have that same
Oh yeah, yeah, man.
kindred spirit. Now, one thing about me is, and let me ask you, are you like this with your children or your wife? Um, say your wife comes in and she blesses you with a gift, whatever it is, right? Can you handle it? Or
Okay, what
does
do you?
your ego say, like my ego, like when they bought the TV, so like my wife and I got married on New Year's Eve. That's our anniversary. And so when they bought that for me Christmas, I was like, and because I couldn't get my wife anything for Christmas because my wife, grandmama, she all about the grandkids now. We got to
Yeah,
make sure that we get the grandkids toys, clothes. Oh, she gonna make sure my money is depleted on the
right.
grandkids. So they buy me a TV, and my ego says, "Hold up, wait a minute, hold on, I didn't get you no. Oh no, all right, I gotta
Yeah,
go get
yeah,
some. I gotta go
yeah,
get some. I got." That's what I mean by if
yeah,
you if your wife blesses you with a gift, unexpectedly. It's not like y'all something anniversary or something where you're exchanging gifts, but if she
yeah.
comes in and buy you a gift and you haven't bought anything for her, is that hard for you to handle, or do you have to
Well,
say,
I kind of like because my wife she'll do stuff like that. My birthday and stuff. I mean, she thinks of stuff to get that I ain't even thought of, right?
okay,
And so I kind of blush. I kind of like, oh man, you really didn't have to do this, but in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I gotta do a step better.
right? See, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
A step higher, and I try to figure out what. But see, the funny thing about my wife is hard to please her. Like a lot of times, I might want to like go shopping and get her a dress or something like that. But I
Hmm.
can't do that because my taste is so different from hers. Like
Hmm.
she would rather for me to just give her money to go shopping instead of trying to buy something or
So,
surprise her. Even
okay.
like when I gave her a surprise party, it's so hard to do anything for her because she just hears and sees stuff she ain't supposed to see.
Right. Yeah.
I tried to do a surprise party for her 40th birthday, and I thought I was really doing it well and being really secret about it. And I left a receipt, I think, in
Oh.
the room of the venue that I was renting out to have. And
Mm.
so she acted like she didn't see it. But then as we got closer, I said, something ain't right because I just, I could just sense,
So that she
And
knew.
so when we got to the thing and we did the surprise at the venue, she acted surprised, but I knew she was.
She was surprised.
And she admitted it later that she was surprised because I left the thing on the bed of the venue I rented out.
Right.
And you gotta be more careful when you're planning something. I said, oh man, you gotta stop looking around. See, I was looking around, I was right in the room.
It was right in the room.
So, I try, man. I try and I'm gonna keep trying, but it's just so hard
And see, my
to
wife is one where when I can shop. She'll tell you, I can shop for her, and when I shop for her, she can't be with me. Like it doesn't have to be like I'm surprising her. She just can't be with me because she gonna worry about money. So I'm like, look, you know what, you know what? Don't even worry about it. Like if I go in the jewelry store, she
Yeah.
can't be with me. She can't
Right.
be, like because she's worried about
The
and I
money.
thank God. No, I thank God for it because I have a woman that she want to make sure everything in the house paid for first. Before you
Yeah.
think about buying her anything, is all the bills paid? That's what I need to know first.
Oh, that's
Okay,
my wife, Odie.
yeah,
That's my.
yeah,
We
because
ain't gonna. If the bills ain't paid, we ain't gonna eat.
okay, like you could come in there with an 8 carat ring. If the bills ain't paid, she ain't gonna enjoy that ring.
Back.
I get it.
You take that back.
Yeah. How do you? How do you? No. What do you still enjoy about creating music?
Enjoy, particularly, or
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm not looking for a particular answer. It's just what do you, out of all these years of you doing music, right?
Mhm.
Um, and
What do I enjoy about it?
yeah, what do you enjoy about doing music?
Oh man, I music. People used to ask me, what do I like more, singing or writing? I love to sing, no doubt about that. I love to be on stage and sing, but I think what I love most of all is writing, because
Okay,
writing, you can tell the story, right?
okay,
And a lot of times in writing, you're telling your story.
okay.
So because of something maybe you have gone through, I take the song, and I don't know if I told you this before, the song I wrote for Regina Bell, Make It Like It Was.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
tell it again.
Yeah. So you know that song, um, and that's just one of many where I was asking God to make it like it was, because I had stopped praying like I was praying. I stopped, really going to church. I kind of stopped, forget the fasting. I had stopped doing everything that I knew I was taught to do,
Okay, right.
uh, to stay in God's presence. And so I didn't want to be like that anymore. I wanted to get back to doing those things. And so that's when God gave me that song, Make It Like It Was, the way it used to be. And so when you are a writer, you can tell a story
Hmm.
that of something that you've gone through, not knowing how many other people have gone through that same thing, and how many people it's going to touch, that have gone through that same thing. And
Hmm.
so I particularly like the writing aspect of music, because again, it just, you get a chance to really share, not with just a few people, what you can share with the world of you know what you went through, and what God gave you. um, just like even on my solo album, the song that Stevie does with me on harmonica, uh, if you only knew my heart, that song was about, if you only knew God's heart, right?
Okay.
You would know that He loves you. You would know that He cares about you. You would
Wow.
know that He puts you first. You
Wow.
know, but in order to know that, you got to get to know Him.
So you would know his
You
heart.
have to get to know God's heart. And then if you knew His heart, you wouldn't question a lot of things.
You wouldn't
So
feel like that you were alone. You wouldn't
yeah,
feel.
you wouldn't feel none of that. You wouldn't feel none of that. And so the writing gives you that outlet to tell your story, you know. And I love that part of music. I love that part of music.
My favorite song, it became my favorite song after listening to it before our first interview, is Misunderstood, actually.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
Well, I
my
told
favorite.
you about that story, that misunderstood.
Yeah,
Man,
matter of fact, that Misunderstood. The reason I love, because your lyrics, you're going into, you're doing things to please people, but what the
mhm.
people don't understand is really, this is really not you.
Right,
And and that's one of the reasons that you're misunderstood, because I'm doing something that really, this is not me. You think it's
right.
me because I'm trying to fit in.
Yeah, I'm trying to fit in. I'm trying to
It
please you.
is
You
trying to
know.
please you, and it ministered to me so well, because I told a friend of mine, I said, I've just gotten to the place in life, maybe the last 5 years, where I'm comfortable in my own skin.
Yeah.
Where,
Yeah.
because like you said, I was always trying to fit in to say, like, hey, I can blend in with you guys, and not understanding at the time that it's okay that I don't fit in with everyone,
Right.
you
That's
know.
right.
And
That's right.
so the reason people didn't know how to take me, because I was trying to be something that I wasn't.
That's right.
And so when you just become who God created, then God can put the people around you
Yeah.
that that's your crowd. Those are your people. That's who you're supposed to be hanging with. That's who you're supposed to be friends with. Those are the people that will understand you.
That's right. It's funny because Misunderstood was I don't know if it was the last song we did on, but it was one of the last because we were working with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis on that cut. And but what was funny, we had worked in the studio, then my wife and I went back to the hotel to listen to a track that Terry had given us to write to, right?
Okay.
And we were so tired because I worked in the studio all night and got back to the hotel so tired. But I wanted to hear the track before I went to sleep. But I was listening, but I couldn't hear anything. And so I asked my wife. I said, "Cherie, what do you hear when you listen to this track? What do you hear?" She was tired too, but she listened. She listened. She said, "I said, do you hear?" I said, "I don't care if it's just a word or what do you?" And she said, "Misunderstood."
Wow.
And I said, "Okay, that's all I need to hear." When she said that, it just lit up, right? And I just turned the light out, went to sleep. But I went to sleep thinking about Misunderstood. So when we got back to the studio, we actually built another track,
Okay.
but for that song. But when she said that word Misunderstood, that's the area we wanted to go in, you know, and that's when we started writing that song.
Well, I thank you. I thank you, because I think that's that, as we know to be, that's that Rhema word, that right now word, to
Yeah.
be able to touch. So, because you never know. Today I was having a discussion with some people, and they were talking about every people now are getting where they don't feel um like they're contributing anything. Sometimes you get lost in the process of life, whatever the process God has you going through. So
Mhm.
you don't know if you're really making a difference, out here in the world, or the people you're around. And so one of the things God had always spoke me, say, if you take the focus off of you
Mhm.
and put it on someone else. So in other words, I'll use this as example. So instead of me worrying about, is Carvin gonna call me? Like, Carvin don't never call. Man, what's going on? Why don't I pick up the phone or call
Yeah.
Carvin, send Carvin a text, see how Carvin is doing? Because maybe the reason he hadn't reached out to me is because he's going through something.
Right. That's
So
right.
if I check on him, I make him find out, like, oh, my brother's not doing well. Hey
Mm.
man, you need anything? This, that, and the other. And
Mm.
so I've learned now, take it off of you
Right.
and put it on someone else. And 9 out of 10, when you come back, like you said, if you know God's heart, when you come back, whatever that situation you had, God done fixed it already.
That's right. That's right. I'm
It-
telling you, man. That's the truth, man. That is the truth. But that is the part of music I think I love the most is the
it's the
writing part.
writing part. It's the writing part.
And don't get me wrong, it ain't too far away from singing, and because I love to sing, I love being in the studio
Hmm.
because you can create so much that way too. And we learned a lot growing up as far as when we first got started with Bill Maxwell and Andre Crouch. They taught us so much, man, when it comes to the studio and how to approach a song and how to sing your backgrounds and how to stack your background vocals. We learned so much with those guys, man. It was just, I tell
Somebody
you, I would change it for the world, my upbringing, because I learned so much from so many different people when it comes.
somebody gave me an interesting story about Andre Crouch.
Yeah, yeah. What
Yeah,
was
it's
that?
a good one. So I had the pleasure to interview Lenny Williams, right?
Okay.
So everybody want to know. Like, I was like, lady, how did you write that song, man? Like, were you going through something with a woman? Because that's like one of the greatest love songs of all time. Like, man,
What song was it?
I forget the title. When he said, I knocked on the door and the knocks went unanswered. He said, maybe you never been in
Oh, I
love
know.
like I've been in love. Yeah.
I heard somebody singing that. What was that? I heard somebody singing that, Otis.
On the Tyler Perry play. Was it the Tyler Perry play? The young man that did it on the Tyler Perry play?
No, but
Okay.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know what
So
you're talking
I asked him because he was singing that hard. Like he
about.
was.
Right,
I was
right.
like, brother, were you going through a divorce, man? Like what happened? He says he's in the booth getting actually singing the song. Guess who walks in the studio while he's singing
Andre.
it? He is trying to impress
Andre.
Andre Crouch. He was saying that hard because Andre Crouch is in the studio. And I said, wow, man, that is wow. That's all I can say.
I kind of had a situation like that too when we were doing Universal Love,
Okay.
and it's a lot of falsetto in that Universal Love
Mm-hmm.
song. And so George Duke produced it. I'm in the booth getting ready to start my lead vocals, and in the back, in the console room, the control room, standing there is Ronnie Isley. So I'm saying to myself, now I got to sing this song in front of Ronnie Isley. So I tried to kind of flip it. I said, okay. So he's standing there. All right, let me try to, let him know where it's coming from. But yeah, it was like I got intimidated at first, but I said, no, let me do this. Ronnie's great. He's great, but I ain't gonna let him scare me.
There you go. That's why I tell you why I find that so interesting because I think people need to understand that the gifts of God are out without repentance,
That's right.
and
That's right.
and you can be even though you're singing gospel and like you said your father said you're singing unto the Lord, you're giving to your Lord, you're excellent, but you can admire a
Oh yeah,
gift that some.
absolutely.
Yeah, because I'm sure because you know what comes with your last name. People people sometimes probably just think your face is in the Bible 24/7. You'll never come up for no air. You probably calling your brother. Well, like what you got on the word today? Like people you I mean
No, you know what? And my kids will tell you this. My wife will tell you this. Salvation has to be a balanced life.
sure
I
yes
laugh so much because I enjoy being saved, and I love what comes with it.
right
Because you're not 24/7 with your head in the word.
no
If they're telling you that, then they need to get balanced. But
right.
life is life, man. And like you said, a gift is a gift. And God is the one that gives the gifts. And he gives them without repentance. Now,
Right.
if you use your gift wrong, then he'll deal with that.
Right.
Man, can I admire a gift?
Yeah.
Are you absolutely? It's like I told you before, I think Howard Hewitt has one of the sweetest falsettos I've ever heard in my life. Ronnie Isley, the same way. Philip Bailey, he's got his own kind of style.
Yeah.
Earth, Wind, Fire. These guys are they great in their craft? Absolutely. They have taken
Yes.
their
Yes.
to levels that when we started out, the Winans, we wanted to reach those levels. What people don't understand is that, yeah, did we admire? We thought that people that did secular music, they did it so well, and they did it in a way that it was so polished, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what we wanted. It's not that we wanted to sing secular music, but we wanted the music that God gave us. We wanted it to be polished.
Polish. Yeah.
Because back then, sometimes gospel groups would just put out anything, you
Right.
know, it would sound any kind of way, raggedy. We never wanted that. We were like, if it's not going to be right, then let's not do it. If you can't put on Stevie Wonder and then next put on the Winans record and the quality still be the same, then
Right.
let's not do it. Either the same or better. Because if we serving God, then we should be coming with the best.
Anyway, that's
That's
the
what, yeah, that's right. That's why the Winans, we would rehearse day and night. We would rehearse so much. We would rehearse. And when it came time to writing, we would take our writing serious because, and that's why so many secular artists contacted us because they felt that our music was polished. They felt that the lyrics that God had given us was like, wow, where'd you get this from? So they were calling us.
and
So
that's
yeah,
and you guys were one of the
God,
first.
there's so many people. God, do I admire Najee? Yes, he can take that saxophone
Oh
and play it like
man.
you know Kenny G, Kirk Whalum, all those guys, man. And you have to. I admire anybody that's gifted. I don't care if it's in basketball. I don't care if they acting, whatever. If you gifted, I admire it because you've taken what God has given you to that next level. You know.
And yeah, I just wanted to point that out, and I knew you would expound on it because I think that, like I said, the beat and my like you said, you were getting ready to sing the song, and Ronald eyes, you like, oh, hold on, wait a minute, now. I got to, I got to cover. Yeah, I mean, it's like anything else. When you see someone like you said that does something excellent, and you're in a lane to do something excellent, it may not be the same thing, or it could be.
Right. Yeah,
You want to say, okay, here's my moment. Let me show them I too
that's
can
right.
do,
That's right.
X Y Z. And like you said too, your father had already trained you guys to give your best,
That's right.
so you don't want to just, like you said, come with any old thing. And I was just, just that's that, because you never know. I'm talking about as fans, we
Mhm.
never know what goes into the process, like what went into that song, far as, how, like when I hear Earth Wind Fire, when they did the song September, I like, man, they look like, they sound like they were having fun when they did
Yeah, I remember the first time I heard that song. I was in high school. The
that
high school teacher played it for us. And me and Marvin looked at each other like, who in the world is this? They were
it's,
just phenomenal, phenomenal. But
it,
yeah, man, it's it was something I was gonna say, I forgot. But go ahead. I
no,
forgot
no,
what
I was going to ask you too, as a father, right? How do you, as a father, as a husband, as a brother, uncle, all the different hats that you wear, um, and a musician, how do you balance all those things to where you can try to make sure you have time for your wife, time, even though your children are grown, but still have time to listen to them. Like you said, as you know, as a father, it's not always about there's a problem. Sometimes they
Mhm.
just want to talk to you.
Right,
They
right,
want your attention.
right, right.
And still check on mom. Mom, why? How do you try to find the time to bring all that in? And the reason I'm asking you this question is because sometimes I want the average guy, he don't sing for a living, or something like that, but just to find ways to make sure that he can do all the things in the different hats that he wears.
It's and that is a loaded question, and it's a tough one.
Hmm.
But I found in life that you have to just relax.
Okay.
You have to just relax,
Okay.
um, and take every day one day at a time, you know, um, because it, you can never all that stuff you mentioned,
Hmm.
it will never end. You know,
Okay. Okay.
being a dad, that's never gonna end. I don't care how grown your kids get. You
Right.
know, then you become a granddad,
Hmm.
and then a husband. That will never end. So I found out, you just have to just step back,
Hmm.
take it a day at a time. You
Okay.
know, you do. God will put on your heart. You maybe need to call so and so. Check in and see. especially if you got a lot of kids. Check and see how they doing. Check and see.
Oh, okay.
Uh, or your wife may not be feeling well. See what's going on. Send her a note, send her a text.
Okay.
Maybe write up her day. So I'm telling you, all this is just, and that's why I said, Otis, before, that you never stop learning,
Gotcha.
because I think if you get to the point where, yeah, I know everything. I've been a husband
Mhm.
30 years, and a
Mhm.
dad for 60 years and whatever,
Mhm.
then you get stagnated and you're like, you don't know what to do. But if you're always open to learn, then you can like walk past your son or your daughter or your wife and say, oh, something ain't right. Or you can talk to them and hear it in their voice, and then maybe have to call them back later and say, you okay? Because last time we talked, you just. So you have to just stay open and take it a day at a time, and just know have to always be here. Don't ever think, my fatherhood or my being a husband is over
Mm.
with. We got it down packed. I know what my wife is going to do. No,
Mm.
you have to always stay open and always be there, and just take a deep breath and be like, okay, what is this day gonna hold?
Gotcha.
And so you just try to just don't try to figure it out. Just let it come to you, and just
Gotcha.
try to,
Just be in the moment.
yeah, be there in the moment.
Well, man, I thank you for blessing me once again, man, with your presence and the wisdoms that you've given us today. I'm gonna try it again, man. I don't know where, but I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna get you and Najee together. I'm gonna try it
Yeah,
again.
because I want to do it. And please pass my number to Najee. Have him give me a call.
I don't
Because
have a number. You gotta tell your wife to send me the.
you don't have my number. Okay,
I,
we'll send it.
yeah,
My
we'll
wife will
send it to.
send it to
Hey,
you.
I
And so,
tried to I tried to do right quick. I'll let you see. I tried to do something even bigger,
uh-huh.
right? It didn't work though. It didn't work. It didn't. So this is what I was trying to do behind your back. This is what I was trying to do behind your back. So I tried to, I said, okay, I got Najee book. Once I had told your wife, I said, okay, hold on. Um, let me check with Najee's schedule. They got back, and then I said, okay, we good. She said on this day, okay, we got. I said, all right, I'm sending the invite. So then I asked her, I said, call me, because I'm trying to orchestrate this thing. I'm trying to go behind your back. So I guess she was busy, whatever they called me. So I reached out to your brother. I reached out to the church, and I said, hey, look, nah. And I sent the previous interview, so I ain't want nobody to think I'm lying, right? So look, now I interviewed you. I want to surprise him. I want to bring him. I want Marvin to come on the show. Bring it. Then I tried to reach out to CC people, and I was trying for Father's Day. I was trying. I was trying to start having pop-ups on you, and when nobody get back with me, I was like, man, I said, man, y'all. And then see, then Najee, I'm gonna let him have it. Like, come on, bro, you got to. As it, but once again, it's one of those things. Just like I said, because you blessed me with your presence, and just the work that you've done, the type of person, that you are, because I know, I have three sisters. I'm the only guy, so, but I know you come from a large family, and so sometimes I know my mother came from a large family. It was nine of them.
Yeah,
And sometimes it's hard to find your place in the family. You know
yeah,
what I mean? You know what I
yeah,
mean? And
yeah.
then you was the one I'm talking about just as a fan,
Right.
looking back from afar. So, I always looked at when Ronald, his voice and that strong how it was, and then I looked at BB and his style of singing, and then your brother Marvin, right? And then I was looking at CC, and I was looking at all these components, everything moving because at one point, everybody was out. That's why they started asking you guys, can everyone and sing? Because Mom and Pop had an album, like everybody had an album. It was,
Everybody.
and so I always looked at you, and I was like, man, he's got something I don't think everybody know. Like he's just gotta it's just just your spirit. It's just your spirit, the type of person that you are. And I always like, man, I want to interview him. And so when it reached out, so yeah, man, I was trying to surprise you, man. But they said couldn't get nobody to come to the phone.
It's tough getting the Winans, man. I'm telling you that now. It's tough getting them. It's tough getting them. Marvin called me maybe about 3 days ago. I say, "What's up?" He said, "Nothing, man. I was just calling you. I was just calling." I said, "Really? Really? You just picked up the phone because you just wanted to call me?" And he just started cracking up. "Yeah, I just wanted to call you." I said, "Well, that's great. I'm grateful." But no, man, it's so tough. But I appreciate you trying. I appreciate you
Yeah,
trying.
yeah, that was gonna be kind of try to be my Father's Day. I said I'm gonna see if I can surprise him and make some stuff behind the scenes, kind of happen. He gonna think it's just me, him, and Najee, and then I'm gonna, we gonna get this thing, you know, and
Hey, we got time to do that, though, Otis. We got time. It's always. Hey, look, you can have me on anytime. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
oh no, no, yeah, thank
I
you.
want to say this to the audience, and
Hmm.
another thing that kind of keeps me going. I was telling one of my other brother-in-laws
Hmm.
this. I start my day each morning uh, in prayer, right? And it's not
Hmm.
really long. A lot of people think when they go to pray, they got to pray 2 hours, and maybe they do. That's up to you.
Right.
But the main thing is that I start my day with prayer, right?
Same here.
And then I read my scripture. Then I go about my day. But that's pretty much every single day. And that to me, that's putting God first. And then I go on about my day because I've honored Him in the first part of the day, you know. And like I tell people, it ain't got to be because it's funny. Growing
Hmm.
up, I wasn't a guy that really liked to read. That was
Hmm.
just, I mean, I finished high school. I graduated with a B
Right.
average, but I wasn't crazy about school. And I
Okay.
just like today, sometimes I'll try to pick up a book and read it, and I'll get to it, but I'll get sleepy and whatever. So I
I
just
get it.
wasn't I just love to read, but I make it a point to read the scripture every single day, to feed myself that word every single day. Sometimes it's just the verse of the day, sometimes it's the verse of the day, and then a couple of scriptures that I'm reading throughout the Bible. But I do that, and then I've trained myself to do it every day. And when I do that, I'm kind of like, okay, God, I've given you your time first, and now the rest of the day, you know, is
Same,
what it
same
is.
here. Same here. Because I will get up in the morning and I will speak to the triune nature of God.
Mm-hmm,
I will say, "Good morning, Father. Good morning,
mm-hmm,
Jesus. Good morning, Holy
mm-hmm.
Spirit." That's the first thing. I'm gonna speak to those three when I
Yeah.
first, because I know the book when it came out. I think it was at first it was like just "Good morning, Holy Spirit,"
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Well, wait a minute, hold on. God has a triune nature. how you
The
gonna tell
Trinity.
how you gonna tell the Holy Spirit, hey, right? But you ain't gonna speak to the Savior, and you ain't gonna speak to the Father. That don't sound right. To me, that's like coming to your house and speaking to your children. And don't say nothing to you. Don't say nothing to your wife. But I'm gonna talk to the kid like that. That didn't set right with me. So
That's
I make sure that because for me, just like you, I need it quiet. Like
yes.
so in the mornings when I get up, it's quiet, and then I can share with the Lord what's on my heart, or let Him pour into me, and then
That's
like you
right.
said, I can go on, with my day.
Yeah.
So we'll make sure that you have me back on again. And once again, I appreciate. Stay safe, stay blessed. And yeah, tell your wife please email me the number. Email
Yes.
your number and I'll lock it in.
Yeah. And then you give it to Nigel and tell him to give me a call. I need to talk to him.
All right, no problem. So I appreciate you, man. Stay safe and stay blessed.
All right. Thank you. God bless you, bro.
God bless you.